Some of your clearest, most confident memories never actually happened, not exaggerated, not fuzzy around the edges, never happened at all. And before this video is over, I am going to plant a fake memory in your head on purpose, and you are going to watch yourself fall for it in real time. You won't be able to stop it, even knowing it's coming. But first, let's start with the lie you believed your entire life. You think your memory works like a video camera. Something happens, your brain records it, saves the file, and later you press play and watch it back. A little faded, maybe, but basically accurate. A recording of the truth. That idea is completely, fundamentally wrong. Your brain does not store memories like little video files waiting to be replayed. It stores scattered fragments, a few key details, a feeling, a rough sketch of what mattered. And here is the strange part. Every single time you remember something, your brain does not press play. It rebuilds the entire memory from those fragments, from scratch, right there on the spot, in the moment you recall it. Which means remembering is not replaying. Remembering is reconstructing. You are not opening a saved photo. You are redrawing the picture from memory every time and hoping it comes out the same. It never quite does. Think of it like a game of telephone you play with yourself. Each time you recall an event, you are remembering the last time you remembered it, not the event itself. Copy of a copy of a copy. And with every pass, tiny errors slip in, and then those errors get saved as if they were always true. In 1974, a psychologist named Elizabeth Loftus proved just how easily that reconstruction can be corrupted from the outside. She showed people a video of a car accident and then asked them a single question about how fast the cars were going. But she secretly changed one word. Some people were asked how fast the cars were going when they hit each other. Others were asked how fast they were going when they smashed into each other. Same video, same accident, one different word. And the people who heard the word smashed remembered the cars traveling significantly faster than the people who heard hit. But it gets worse. A week later, she brought them back and asked the new question. Did you see any broken glass? Now, there was no broken glass anywhere in that video. But the people who had heard the word smashed were more than twice as likely to confidently, vividly remember broken glass that never existed. One word, slipped in after the fact, had reached back into their memory and physically rewritten what they believed they saw with their own eyes. That is called the misinformation effect, and it is happening to you constantly. Every leading question, every news headline, every time a friend describes an event slightly wrong, your memory quietly absorbs it and edits itself to match. Now, changing a detail is one thing. But could you plant an entire event, a whole memory of something that simply never happened? Loftus decided to find out. She gave people short-written stories about their own childhood, collected from their family members. 3 of the stories were true, but one was completely fabricated. A story about getting lost in a shopping mall as a young child, being terrified, crying, and finally being rescued by a kind elderly stranger and reunited with their family. None of it had ever happened. And yet, when she asked about it, around a quarter of the people didn't just believe the story, they remembered it. They described the stranger's face, the color of his shirt, the exact feeling of panic, and then the flood of relief. They added rich emotional details that Loftus had never given them. Their brains did not just accept the lie, they built an entire world around it, furnished it, and moved in. And if you think you're too smart to fall for that, this next one is impossible to resist. In another study, researchers showed people a fake advertisement for Disneyland that featured Bugs Bunny. After seeing it, a large chunk of people confidently remembered meeting and shaking hands with Bugs Bunny on a childhood trip to Disneyland. There is just one problem. Bugs Bunny is a Warner Brothers character. He has never been at Disneyland. He could never have been there. And yet the memory felt completely real, complete with the texture of his furry glove. A single fake image was enough to manufacture a childhood that never existed. Which brings us to the promise I made at the very start. I am going to plant a false memory in your head right now, in the next 30 seconds. All you have to do is read the following list of words and try to remember them. Ready? Here they are. Bed, rest, awake, tired, dream, night, blanket. Doze, slumber, snore, pillow, peace, yawn, drowsy. Okay, now without scrolling back up, answer honestly. Was the word sleep on that list? Really think about it. Picture the list. A huge number of you are now completely certain that yes, the word sleep was there. Some of you can practically see it sitting in the middle of the list, but it was not there. Sleep was never on that list. Go back and check. Your brain saw a pile of words all pointing at one single idea, decided that the word sleep obviously belonged with them, and quietly inserted a memory of you reading it just seconds ago, right in front of your own open eyes. That is a false memory, manufactured live while you were actively watching for it, and you still couldn't stop it. So why on earth would your brain do something this unreliable? Because it was never trying to be accurate in the first place. It was trying to be efficient. Storing a perfect, high-definition recording of every second of your life would take an impossible amount of space and energy. So your brain doesn't bother. Instead, it keeps the gist, the meaning, the general theme of what happened, and it throws away almost all of the fine detail. Then, when you go to remember, it rebuilds those missing details on the fly, filling every gap with whatever fits, whatever makes sense, whatever should have been there. The word list was all about sleep. So sleep should have been there, so your brain simply wrote it in and handed it to you as a real memory. Helpful, fast, and completely fabricated. Here is the part that should genuinely unsettle you. Every single time you pull up a memory, you don't just read it, you rewrite it. The act of remembering physically reopens the memory, makes it fragile and editable again, and before your brain files it back away, it can fold in new information. Your current mood, a detail someone else mentioned, something you saw in a photo. This leads to a deeply strange conclusion. The memories you revisit the most often, your happiest day, your worst heartbreak, the story you have told 100 times at 100 dinner tables, those are not your most accurate memories. They are your most edited ones. The more you love a memory, and the more often you have taken it out and held it, the more it has quietly drifted away from what actually happened. And there is a scientist who showed exactly how false even our most vivid memories can be. His name was Ulrich Neisser. The morning after the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded, he had a group of students write down, in detail, exactly where they were and how they heard the news. It felt seared into their minds, a so-called flashbulb memory, the kind you would swear you could never forget. Nearly 3 years later, he asked the same students to describe that morning again. Many of their new accounts were wildly, completely different from what they had written down themselves. And when he showed them their own handwriting from years earlier, some of them refused to believe it. They trusted the vivid false memory in their head more than the words written in their own hand. This is not just a fascinating quirk. It has ruined lives. For decades, people were sent to prison on the strength of a single confident eyewitness pointing across a courtroom and saying, "That's him. I will never forget that face." And then DNA testing arrived and began overturning those convictions by the hundreds. Innocent people locked away for years on the basis of a memory that felt absolutely certain and was completely wrong. It turns out a confident, detailed, emotional memory, the exact kind a jury trusts without question, can be entirely and catastrophically false. How sure you feel about a memory tells you almost nothing about whether it truly happened. So sit with what this actually means for you. You do not really have a past. What you have is a story about your past, and you quietly rewrite a piece of it every single time you tell it. The childhood you remember, the moments you believe made you who you are. Some of them have been edited, reshaped, and reconstructed so many times that they are now closer to fiction than to fact. And you would never, ever know which ones. Because you cannot feel the difference between a real memory and one your brain invented. From the inside, they feel exactly the same. You are, in the most literal sense possible, a story you keep telling yourself, and the narrator has been lying the whole time. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this, click subscribe. Your brain didn't want you to know, but now you do.